What's up you guys, After Reacts here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about my newest trivia event I went to about a couple of hours ago now. I just kind of completed, so kind of still quite fresh in my mind. So I went to a Vampire Diaries Trivia event and I have written down my answers, questions, everything. I did this for the Buffy one that I did. And considering, you know, the Vampire Diaries was quite a big show on my channel as well, I figured that I would also do a video about that. First things first, I would like to tell you what my team name was. It was Matt Donovan's Empty Plot Lines. And when I read that out to everyone over the microphone, everyone laughed. So I got an extra 2 points for that. I also got an extra 2 points because I wore my Michelson necklace, which was sent to me by Tony. And I'm now realizing I should have brought my pop vinyls of Klaus and Elijah, but whatever. In case you're curious about those ones, this is Klaus, that's Elijah. But too late now. So I got an extra like 4 points off the bat just because of those. So I'm going to read out, like, kind of what the question was, and then I'll tell you what the answer is, but I'd really like to know, like, your answers. So I want you guys to play along with me, and tell me what you think the answers are, and let me know what, you know, how you did at the end. Because we did this for for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and it was a lot of fun to see, you know, how everyone did. There are, like, 8 questions per round, and I'll break them up into rounds as they were for me. I kind of wrote down, because the host would read out the question, and I would have to answer the question as quickly as possible before going on to the next, before she read out the next question. But I would also have to try and write down the question the best I could. So I never got to write down the question as it was. I only wrote down like little, kind of like bullet points. So I have to try and remember what the question is exactly. Hopefully I'll edit in like a more comprehensive question here somewhere. But yes, I'm going off of my notes here, which are very messy, but yes. Also, the host really liked giving out extra points for things. So I will let you know if there was any extra points given out for things, and some of these questions also had multiple choice, but I did not write down all of the choices because I just didn't have the space or time, because like look at this, it's a mess, it's a fucking mess. I hope you didn't pause and check all the questions, because it's a lot. Alright, let's go over the questions, shall we? Alright, so we have actually, wait, one more thing. The host said that it's primarily the Vampire Diaries related, but there are a few originals questions sprinkled in there. No legacies, but to be honest, there's like 2, and they're very easy, so I don't know. I watched a whole universe of a show and it means nothing. Anyways, let's get into round 1. So the first question was, which brother did Elena meet first? The answer to that is Damon. I got that correct. That is revealed at the end of season 3 when she's turned into, when she's drowning, like flashes back, I think. Or maybe it was just before that. I don't know. Look, it's in that episode, and he compels it away, and then she drives off a thing and drowns, and her parents die, whatever. Anyways, question 2. Majority of the show takes place in where? And the answer was Mystic Falls, but if you wrote down what state it was in, I don't know, you got an extra point. So I actually wrote down Mystic Falls, Virginia, and then I was told that it would give an extra point, so that was exciting to me. So I got 2 points for that. The third question is, basically I've got written down here, Rose's bestie killed by Elijah. So there you go. Who was Rose's best friend that was killed by Elijah? And the answer to that one is Trevor. And I got that correct. The fourth question is, which storyline are the main characters from? Basically, the host listed out, like, Damon, Stefan, Caroline, Elena. Basically just listed a bunch of the characters. I just wrote down main characters because we all knew what that meant. The answer to that is Klaus, and I got that correct. The fifth question was basically, what supernatural creature was Elena before she became a vampire? And yeah, the answer to that one is doppelganger. So I got that correct. These, to be honest, I feel like all the questions were quite easy. But you guys can let me know how you do, so it is what it is. Question 6 is, how did Stefan die as a human? And I think it's possible that you could have gotten 2 points for this, but I didn't get 2 points for it because I answered, and then it was revealed later on that they would give an extra point for, like, describing how he was dead, how he died, like who did the deed. So that was annoying. I would have got an extra point, but it's whatever. The answer is that he got shot, and I wrote that correctly. You would have got an extra point if you wrote by his dad. Question 7 was, how old roughly is Catherine? And the answer is approximately 500 years, which I justified by the fact that the 100th episode is called 500 Years of Solitude. And, you know, there's also her talking about being on the run for 500 years, so whatever. Like, come on. If you didn't know that, then whatever. Also, the host at this point said she would accept 499, and I'm like, I don't think so. That shouldn't be accepted. Because she always talks about 500. Just saying. Question 8 is, what is the secret society that experimented on Enzo and Damon? And the answer is Augustine. So I got 9 points in round 1. That was the end of round 1. How did you go? It's really strange because, like, when we, like, previously when I've done trivia nights, which I've done quite a few now, we usually do 3 rounds and then we swap pages with people, and then they mark our, like, we mark each other. And this time we swapped pages every round. That was interesting. So I got to know my answers, like the correct answers for all of these, like, pretty early on. It's quite funny because when I started marking the other person's, like, answers, I just kind of ticked them all before the host said anything, because these were all very easy. Like, I got, like, max points plus an extra point because I wrote Virginia on one of them. On to round 2. So the first question for round 2 is, where did Stefan and Klaus first meet? And the answer to that is Chicago, which I got correct. The first thing that popped into my head was New Orleans, of course. But Chicago just kind of popped out at me, and I was like, I'm gonna write that one down. And I got it correct, so yeah. The second question is, who turned Vicky? The answer was Damon. That was pretty obvious. I think this might have been a multiple choice question. which is so silly. Dude, the multiple choices on these made them so easy to answer. Like, even if you had, like, a shadow of a doubt of, like, one of the answers, you would work it out just from the multiple choices. It was quite annoying to me, I think. So the third question was, the first generation of vampires are also known as... The answer is the originals. I got that correct. Question 4 was a quote, and I just kind of have to kind of remember what the quote was exactly. But you have to pretty much, you know, it's who said this quote, and the quote was something like, "That's why you're great at being a vampire, Marcel. You chose it. I didn't. And I'm angry," or something like that was the quote. I don't know. I couldn't write down the whole quote because I don't have a lot of space going for me. But this was the first originals question because Marcel doesn't appear in the Vampire Diaries at all, and I'm pretty sure that this is like quite late into the originals actually. So this one might have been a bit difficult for those who hadn't seen the originals actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But the answer was Rebecca, and I got that correct. Question 5 is, which vampire keeps letters of their victims? So this is actually the first one that I got wrong. I couldn't think of who it was, and I wrote Stefan, but I wasn't happy with that answer when I wrote it down. But the answer was actually Klaus. There you go. Question 6 is, Elena reads something in a secret room in the episode The Dinner Party. I also got this one incorrect, because, I mean, even though it said secret room, I was like, I don't know whether there's a secret room ever in the show. I don't remember a secret room. And I'm like, I remember there being a cave, and I remember they find the cave, and they read the original story. So I wrote the original story. It was incorrect. But the answer was actually the Gilbert Journal. There's a Gilbert Journal that she finds in, like, she was at her, like, family house, vacation house thing, I don't know. And there's a secret door or something. And she, secret room, and she finds the journal. So, there you go. I got another one wrong. This next one, I'm actually really mad about, because, well, I'll justify myself in a moment. So the question is, which one of these 4 options are not a founding family? Okay, and I do remember the options. The options were the Gilberts, the Fells, the Donovans, and the Gerards. And instantly my brain goes, okay, well, I mean, Donovan, they're not really founding families. But then they retcon him into being, like, the person that makes the bell or something in season 8. So maybe, like, that counts as a founding family. He's, like, they kind of retcon him into being a founding family member without actually having the title. But then I heard, like, I was like, I asked the host again, I was like, what was the 4th option again? And she said Gerard. And then she's like, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correct. And I was like, Gerard. And then I was like, that's Marcel's last name. He's not a fucking founding family member. So I wrote down Gerard. Even though Donovan, also not really a founding family member, but, like, apparently there was only one answer written on her thing. Anyways, so apparently the answer was Donovan. And then, like, everyone piped up and was like, no, Gerard also. So I did get a point for that because it was an answer that was that had it was a question that had 2 answers. Anyway, so if you got Gerard or Donovan, you were right. I should have written both of them. Probably would have got 2 points. Anyways. Question 8 was, who is able to cure a werewolf bite? And, I asked the host to come over, and I was like, there's 2 answers to this question. Because, like, there was. And she was like, oh, I only have 1 answer. And then I was like, it's Klaus and Hope. Because Hope can cure a vampire bite. We know this from Legacies. Technically, there was no questions from Legacies. But, like, she's, like, it's true. I'm just saying it's true. So, the answer is Klaus and Hope. So, I got 2 points for that. And that's the end of round 2. So, how are you guys going? You going good? I got 7 points in round 2. On to round 3. So the ooh, this one made me mad too. Anyways, this is where I was like, I at this point, I was piping up a lot. Like, I was speaking up a lot. That's the word I'm looking for. Anyways, so the first question of round 3 is, who helps Tyler break the sire bond? And then there was 4 options, and yeah, so the correct answer is Haley. Okay? That is the correct answer. However, the host had Klaus as the answer. Do you know how absurd that is? Because literally, Klaus kills Tyler's mum for, like, breaking all the sire bonds. Why would he help break the sire bond that he has over... Anyways, so that made me mad. So, you know, Klaus, not the correct answer. Correct answer is Haley. Round 3, question 2, was Elena doesn't appear in what season of the show? And the host did reference that her voice shows up, but she doesn't appear. And the answer to this is season 7, because she was not in season 7, and she did appear in season 8, just in the series finale. So, the answer, season 7. So, question 3 is, which band does Lexi compel to get her and Stefan backstage? And I left this one for like a hot minute. It took me a minute. I'm like, I feel like this was like maybe the 90s or maybe the 80s. And I'm like, I need to like come up with like a band that they would go see. And then my brain was just like, I'm gonna write Bon Jovi. Just so you know, I actually had someone on my team this time. Usually I go to these events alone, because I'm a loser and don't have anyone to go with me. My teammate wasn't very helpful, but that's okay. They were fun to talk to anyways. But when I wrote down Bon Jovi, they laughed at me and was like, no, that's ridiculous. That's not what it is. So the answer was Bon Jovi. I don't know how I pulled that one out of my ass. Like, my teammate legit, when they heard that, was like, how? Must have just been in the back of my brain. I don't know. Question 4 was, Stefan compels Chicago man to do what to wife? There was actually a name of the guy, I don't know. But, like, basically, he compels a man in Chicago to do something to his wife. And, I wrote to drink her blood, and that was correct. So, yeah. Question 5 was another quote, and you needed to write down who wrote the quote, who said the quote. And the quote was, "I've been in love, it's pointless and overrated." That wasn't the full quote, but that was basically it. So I wrote down Enzo because I'm like, we've had a lot of questions here that I feel like are like just the same answers a lot of the time. And we haven't had an Enzo question yet. So I wrote down Enzo because I didn't remember the quote. The answer was Damon. It was literally at this point when I started to realize that there was a very big theme of the questions that was just like about Klaus, about Damon, and about Stefan. Like, it really just felt like those were like the key, like, it was getting quite frustrating because, like, there's a lot more seasons to the show than just like the first 3, which it seems like they focused very heavily on. There was no mention of the Travelers or Bonnie. Just so you know, there's no Bonnie questions. For those Bonnie fans out there. Question 6. Klaus calls Stefan by what name? And you get a second point if you write down why he calls him this. So the answer is Ripper. And the reason for this is he rips people's heads off while feeding and then puts them back on. So I got 2 points for that. Question 7 is an annoying one. Can you kill an original by chopping their head off or removing their heart? So basically this was a yes or a no question, which I hate those. It's just a 50-50. But also, it's technically, I don't think it's ever technically stated whether or not that would work. They just never mention that. It is a conversation of people that still to this day people talk about. People ask, would that work? Don't know. They don't say it does, so you could just kind of assume that it doesn't, right? You just kind of assume that. There is you do get a second point for this, if you write down what can kill an original. So the answer was no, and the other answer is the white oak steak. That's it. That's the end. That's the end of question 7. Question 8 was who killed Logan Fell once he became a vampire? And to be honest, who the hell cares? There's so many Fells in this fucking franchise. I wrote down Stefan, and the answer was Alaric. So I got that one wrong. So I got 8 for that round. That's the end of round 3. So there you go. The next section was like a drawing part. So they gave us a prompt to draw something, and we just had to draw it. And basically, it was I think it's a really stupid prompt, but basically the prompt was, what would happen if Sam and Dean from Supernatural showed up in Mystic Falls? Really weird to bring in another TV show into the vampire. It's just a weird question, I think. But anyways, I'll show my picture that I made here. And I'll just describe it to you a little bit. So yeah, it's the Impala. I'm looking down at it here, but it's gonna be here somewhere. So it's the Impala, it's Baby, Dean's car, and next to it is Damon, and he's holding bourbon in his hand, and he said that that's a nice car. That's what would happen. Also, I kind of tried to draw Sam, and then I realized I couldn't really draw him. I accidentally gave him an afro. So I just didn't draw anyone in the driver's seat. Dean's not even there. But anyways, that got me 15 points. I actually brought like my coloring pencils to like make a really nice picture, but as you can see, it's mainly just black, so that's fun. I initially was going to draw Dean just standing over the corpses of all of the characters of the show, because that's technically what would really happen. But the thing is, I don't know how to draw people. And my teammate actually suggested this, so I did this instead. Anyways, on to round 4. The first question for round 4 is, what allows vampires to walk in the sunlight? And the answer is a daylight ring. And I asked if I could get an extra point for writing down what the gem in the daylight ring was. And I got an extra point because I wrote lapis lazuli. There was like another team there that like was like, technically you need a witch, you need a witch's spell to do it, blah blah blah. Like, doesn't really matter, man. You need the daylight ring. The question is, what allows vampires to walk in the sunlight? Is the daylight ring. That was really frustrating to me. Anyways. Question 2 of round 4 is, who kills Mason Lockwood? And the answer is Damon. You seeing a theme here? The next question was Andrea Lebanair. Basically, it was just like, this person was named Andrea Lebanair, and she eventually became a crescent wolf, and what's her real name, basically. But, like, also, it was worded, like, that, I worded that wrong. That wasn't the way the question was worded. But, she became a crescent wolf was part of the question, and I'm like, I didn't say anything. But I'm like, she didn't become a crescent wolf. She was a crescent wolf. That's just, like, her, like, pack that she was born into. Anyways. The answer was Haley, and you got an extra point if you got her last name, which I wrote Haley Marshall because that's just her name, so I wrote her name. You get an extra point for it. It was kind of silly, but I'll take the extra point. Question 4 was, who was the first attempt that Klaus made at making a hybrid? And there was 4 options, one of which was Tyler, and that was incorrect. The answer was Ray Sutton, which I got correct. I would never have gotten that if it wasn't multiple choice. It's like in episode 2 or something like that. Maybe it was episode 1 of season 3. But yeah, there's a dude named Ray. Question 5 is, Elena's necklace originally belonged to who? And the answer was Rebecca. I got that correct. Question 6 was, who is the original witch? And you got 2 points for writing her full name. Which, again, was kind of silly, but okay. The answer was Esther Michelson. Then we have question 7. What city does Klaus go to after finding out a witch is plotting against him? I mean, arguably this could be another originals question, but I mean, it's the backdoor pilot. It's still in the Vampire Diaries. But the answer is New Orleans, and I got that correct. And the 8th question for round 4 is Damon kills somebody after telling them his secret. And there was 4 options, one of which was Rose, one was Vicky, I don't remember the 3rd option, and then the 4th option was Jessica. And I originally wrote down Vicky, but I thought about it a little bit longer, and I wrote down Jessica, because I can talk about this. The answer is Jessica. It is like I kind of remember the scene. Maybe I'm mixing 2 scenes together, but I remember what they're talking about exactly. I think he's laying down on a road, and he, like, someone stops, gets out of the car, he talks to them, and he's like, I actually hate being a vampire, or something like that, and then kills her, and that's the secret. Anyways, that's the end of round 4. I got 10 points. So, I'm doing pretty damn well, I would say myself. I think I'm doing pretty well. How about you? How are you doing? On to round 5. So, the first question for round 5 is, what decade was Damon in New York? I wrote down the 80s, because I feel like the way that the characters were dressed in that episode, where he was with Lexi and everything, like, I felt like it was 80s. Apparently it was the 70s. So, I got that incorrect. Then, question 2 was, I wrote down Catherine female sire. So, what female character did Catherine turn into a vampire? And the answer was Caroline. I got that correct. Question 3 was Matt and Jeremy work where? And then you got an extra point if you wrote down what they did. And the answer was the Mystic Grill, and they are busboys. And so I got both of those correct. I'm already making up for the fact that I got one wrong. Question 4 is Cole compels who to kill Jeremy? And the answer for that one is Damon, and I got that correct. Question 5 is, can witches be compelled? What a fucking boring question. Yes or no? The answer is no. I got that correct. But, like, what a fucking boring question, right? There's no fucking questions about Bonnie Bennett. You know, one of the main characters of the show. I mean, Caroline's not even really mentioned in this. I mean, she's the answer of a Catherine question. But can witches be compelled? No, they cannot. Question 6 is, who slaughtered Catherine's entire family? And the answer for that one was Klaus. I got that correct. And then question 7 was, Klaus used what to kill Michael? And then I said out loud, which time? Because he kills him more than once. But yeah, the answer for that one was the White Oak, which not only did I know that I had that correct anyways, the host came over and was like, what do you mean what time? And I'm like, well, I mean, he kills him, like, both times. And she's like, well, that one. She's basically confirmed I got it right on the spot, but either way, I'm pretty sure he used a white oak stake the second time as well, so. And then, we have question 8, which the question for this one was, what is the purpose of the moonstone? And the correct answer is to remove the hybrid curse. And I got that correct. And the person that I marked, they wrote down to stop werewolves from transforming or something like that. I think they wrote down that, and I'm like, no, that was a lie. That was the lie told to I don't know why they did that. I don't know why they told the lie, but anyways. But yes, I got 8 in my final round, which, considering the fact that, like, the minimum amount of points per round, like, the minimum maximum of it, oh my god, that doesn't make sense, would be 8, because there's 8 questions, so, like, technically I got, like, almost perfect points. I mean, that's pretty good. So my trivia total was 43, and plus the 2 points that I got, plus the 4 points that I got from my necklace and from my team name, which I feel like maybe should have gotten more points now that I think about the fact that everyone laughed. But anyways. So that's an extra 4 points, and then I got 15 points for my drawing. My grand total was 62 points, and I came third. I feel really weird about that. Like, arguably, I got, like, perfect points plus a couple of extra points, right? Because of, like, extra points. Like, if I got things incorrect, I made up for it with extra points. Which I guess that means that other people are getting extra points too. But I feel like some people wouldn't have got some of the answers that I got for my extra points. Like, I feel like people didn't get lapis lazuli. Like, why would anyone write down Klaus and Hope? Who else watched Legacies, really? I don't know. I originally miscounted as well, and I wrote down 61. And I tied with someone for 3rd place, and I was like, actually, this one I got 2 points for. And so I got 62 points. So I came 3rd, and I got a, what is it, a voucher for $20. Second place, I don't know what second place got, but first place got 65 points, which I think if I had actually taken a picture and posted it on social media, which, to be honest, I don't really know how to do. It says post a picture with the host, tag our pages, and show the host for 3 bonus points. And I don't really know how to do that, to be honest. I'm old. But yeah, I probably would have tied for first place if I had just done that. If I just knew how to work technology. The older I get, the less I understand, apparently. Which is weird, because I understood all of this once upon a time. But yes, I would really like to know how you guys did. So please, like, post your results down below. And yeah, let me know what you thought about this. I just want to interject really quickly that I want to make a little bit more of a statement about the questions. So, like I said, there wasn't any bonding questions there wasn't even really anything about Caroline, really. Nothing about Enzo or, you know, half of the other cast. There was nothing about Travelers. Like, a lot of it was just Damon, Stefan, Rebecca, Klaus, White Oak Steak. Like, there was 2, maybe 3 questions about the White Oak Steak. Like, what about the Travelers? I mean, nobody really liked them, but, like, come on, they were part of the show. Nothing about Siphon Witches, so nothing about Season 7, really. You know, nothing about the Sirens or Cade. Nothing about the Gemini Witches. A question that I was really hoping and expecting was how many Michelson siblings were there, which is 7. But that didn't come up. And yeah, there wasn't any, like, questions about law, like, about the Vervain. I'm just kind of disappointed in the, lack of, variety with the questions. They were all about the same 3 or 4 things, which was quite disappointing. Like, a good question would have been, like, what year was Damon and Stefan turned into vampires? Or, I wouldn't have been able to tell you the answer. Maybe a multiple choice for that one. Like, a good question would have been, like, name all of the siblings. Or, you know what? Name all of the Gemini siblings. Like, you know? What is the prison world called? What year is the prison world stuck in? How did Silas get loose? Like, all of these different parts of the show, and they were just not even mentioned in any of these questions. And then to, like, top it off for, like, the drawing question to be about supernatural crossover with the Vampire Diaries is very random to me. But yeah, I just wanted to go over that a little bit more. But, I don't know, maybe you guys really enjoyed them. So, let me know. I really want to go to more trivia nights. They haven't done a supernatural one yet, but you bet your ass if they do a supernatural one, I will be there, and I'll probably make a video about it, because Buffy, The Vampire Diaries, and Supernatural were the 3 shows that I started on my channel, and, you know, they deserve a little bit of love every now and then, and, you know, I'd like to give them love. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Yeah. And I guess I will see you in the next one.